So the Olympics have come and gone from our various screen devices, but a strange story about a why gotta be white winged headless statue that could be connected to Satan remain. Phil has the story. Phil?
Yes. What does the Winged Victory of Samothrace represent? Internet debunks headless angel at the Olympics claim. The Satanic Panic is back. People are getting their knickers in a twist over the opening Last Supper of the Olympics and the closing ceremony on August 11th, 2024, depicting the Winged Victory of Samothrace, which is Nike, goddess of victory, and the Golden Voyager. What really happened and is happening? Is there truly cause for concern? Or is this blown out of proportion? This story is from Sportskida by Krishma Rao on August 12th, 2024.
So I'm going to come to our resident panel expert, Rob. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So I got a. So Rob gets a gold medal in this category.
Yes, it does.
Oh, sorry, you've been disqualified. Sorry, the IBA disqualified you. You came up against a Russian. You've now been disqualified. Sorry.
I want to, like Wizard of Oz, you can take a peek behind the veil for the viewers and understand that before we do any of this, we have to write some show notes and just like do little blurbs that we're going to do. And my literal first note is lol. Like I just really need to point out how much of a joy this article was for me to read, because it's utter nonsense. It makes no sense at any point, and it was baffling. They had the headless statue of, actually I used Wikipedia to go, Nike is the goddess, right? So they had the headless statue. It's also missing an arm, a couple arms and a wing of Nike from the 2nd century or even earlier, and they raised it through the closing ceremony of the Olympics. That's what they did. And apparently this is satanic. And I'm mostly astounded at just the ability to be personally persecuted about literally anything that exists in the world, because it's honestly just impressive. I have nothing more. A thing occurred. They didn't like it. It's satanic. That's literally what the article says.
It's not news. We're doing the news here. This is not news, for goodness sakes. This is Twitter, and this is not news. This is an entire load of snowflakes quoting a horrifically awful human being in Ollie London who once came out on Twitter, and the big news that they had was that they had transitioned to being, quote, a Korean housewife, and then detransitioned from that. So anything Ollie London says is just, not worth a grain of salt. This screams a small sect of Christians wanting to be persecuted because they've got FOMO. It's FOMO persecution. They've got this fear of missing out of being persecuted. So their big news of the day that they're going to start screaming about is the Olympics persecuted us in the opening closing ceremony.
I really do try to have a charitable reading of whatever they're trying to say, because not everyone speaks honestly. And that's hard for me to understand sometimes. So I try to like look at it and go, okay, this is the only way what they're saying makes sense to me. If you believe that Christianity is right, choose your flavor, then what that means is that anything that's not Christian is by definition satanic. Therefore, they must be right. Nike was not Christian, therefore it's satanic. Like, that's the best I can do.
As I say, we need to actually have news organizations cover the news, for goodness sakes. This is not news.
That said, the Vatican specifically said that they were offended, which is also
a big
impressive.
win in my books. If you've offended the Vatican, it's a big win in my books.
Well, okay, so let's bring it back.
For the love of Jesus Christ, cover the news.
Yes, cover the news. Right. Let's bring it back. I mean, first off, like, if you got pure joy from reading this article, you're welcome. I just kind of looked at it and I was just like, well, actually, we should thank Atheist Experience host Johnny P. Angel for recommending this article article. So thank you, Johnny. We really do appreciate you bringing us the news.
The news.
All right. So, Phil, you brought up the whole Satanic Panic thing, and it seems like that. I'm not. I've been on this earth for a minute now, and I have watched the Olympics, a lot of different Olympics over the years, and I guess that this particular Olympics seems like that we've been having Christian freak out issues since the opening ceremony. You know, with the Christians freaking out because they thought that the supper of the Dionysus was was making fun of the Last Supper. You know, holy Jesus, he's blue, and this lets me know that no one was paying attention to Greek mythology in school. And that, to me, Phoebe, was the news.
Doing the news.
Doing the news.
Eat your heart out. This is what you should be teaching. This is part of the news.
The news, exactly. The news. And then of course we covered early this week, the Algerian boxer and her being misgendered and making that the news and Richard Dawkins lying, and then now we have the closing ceremony and also personally my highlight for the Olympics was the Australian breakdancer who made up her own moves. I was like, wow. And as one comedian pointed out,
she got a PhD in breakdancing.
Right. Well, here's the thing. As one comedian actually pointed out, that in the Olympics, countries send their best in that sport. So Australia sent their best breakdancer. So, guys, listen, should we critically evaluate claims of hidden or satanic meanings in public events? I know that, Rob, you said, I got nothing. Phil, you said, Satanic Panic. I feel like
I'm watching out of the Twilight Zone on this.
Right. Phoebe said she's watching the Twilight Zone, but is there any... but no, seriously, guys, but is there a way to actually critically evaluate claims of hiddenness or satanic meanings in public events, or should that be completely dismoot? Should it be ignored?
The white rabbit here. You're chasing the white rabbit, aren't you?
I'm trying to do the news.
For the love of Jesus Christ, do the news.
I'm trying to do the news. What but Phoebe, go ahead. Should that be a thing or no? Phil,
it's baffling how people, and I have seen this through the years where certain myths, because of the motif of the ancient Near East or the area surrounding Palestine, had all of these different types of myths and the borrowing or the motifs that are used then in Christianity. Christians tend to want to own these things, right? And forgetting archaeology. The archaeology wants this statue. This statue was actually found by an archaeologist on the island of what was it called? The island of Samothrace, right? And the statue was found in parts, headless. They have not found the head as yet, right? And
there'd be conspiracy theory about that. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened to the headless, winged, satanic?
The winged one. The wings missing.
Samothrace statue.
Where's Lieutenant Columbo when you need him?
I know, right? Man, one more thing. But go ahead, Phil.
Just one more thing.
The hand was found in another location, and then some of the fingers were already in a museum, and they only realized afterwards, oh, these fingers belong to that statue, right? So
did they find the middle finger?
I don't think. Did they find the middle finger? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about international, or did they find the fingers that the Brits would want to use? Was that found at all?
Oh, the two fingers. All I know, they found that the fingers were already present I think in the museum in France, the Louvre. But the problem is when we have people who do not, as you said, alluded earlier, do not look at Greek mythology, have not learned about other religions, right? And then impose what seems to be a similarity of something between their religion, between that ancient religion and theirs. Then they demonize it and say, oh, it's of the devil. The thing is that archaeology plays an important role, right? And in archaeology, you also learn about the myths of other religions. The thing is that this statue just represented, it wasn't an angel. They thought, they have this concept of angels having wings. So they thought this, oh wow, this angel is probably a demon. And they also claim that the Voyager, the golden Voyager, right, was Lucifer, Satan. Yeah. When it had nothing to do with Satan, that was a representing a time capsule that was launched in 1977. They got their facts totally wrong. This is when people do not do their research and just come up with assumptions.
Well,
and you know what they say about assumptions?
They make an ass out of you and me, as Daddy used to say. But no, they do their research, Phil. They do. Unfortunately, they do their research sitting on the John reading Twitter, because we know that's where the bastion of all great information.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly. That's where all the greatest, information comes from. But if I were to ask everybody about this particular story and how everybody basically, as Phil aptly put and so eloquently got their knickers in a bunch because they thought Samothrace was this satanic symbol. What could be done actually to bring down these and it seems like to be more prevalent now, or maybe I'm just noticing it more, misinformation, especially when it just comes to, I just take it as France just being French. I mean, they do artsy fartsy things all the time. I mean, like they got the Louvre, I even watched like the opening ceremony with the guy who was on the wires and was flipping all over the place. I said, oh, that's interesting. And I just took it as, oh, that's just the French being French. And then everybody drinks some wine and then go home and then go to sleep, I guess. I don't know, and eat like a baguette with butter. But is there a way for us to actually say like, hey, before you get all like knicker bunchy, maybe you just need to slow your roll? Or is that something that we should even care about?
Yeah, no, the problem is ultimately ceremony and education, just straight up, because humans care a lot about ceremony. I even mentioned that the last time I was on here. Humans care a lot about ceremony and rituals, even atheists. So we're going to have our opening ceremonies, we're going to have our closing ceremonies, and we're going to do things like include symbology that people resonate with. And when you have a sincerely held religious belief and then you watch someone else's ceremony occur and it looks alien to you, and I mean it alien, then they're just going to go for whatever is like the most wrong thing, which in this case is satanic. And I say education because like a couple weeks ago I was watching a video of just random video games that are coming out on Steam, and one of them is from an Italian developer. I don't remember the game, I don't remember the company, I'm sorry, but anytime I see any religious depiction coming from an Italian, it's weird, man. Like they have some wacky iconography and it is bizarre and it is actually unsettling. Yeah,
Xanadu unsettling. It's Xanadu unsettling.
It's also fascinating, but the only way that I know that is because I have even just a little bit of education to look at and go, oh look, this is a thing that I remember and I can associate with this other thing. So like, should we stop the misinformation? Yes. How do we do that? Teach them. Will they be taught? Probably not.
I mean, Ryan Walters is running around Oklahoma. You haven't got a chance down there.
Yeah, shout outs to people who still live in Oklahoma. My question to you is why?
Be careful, it'll become Woklahoma.
Woklahoma. Well, if they get rid of Ryan. Well, according to Ryan, it is Woklahoma, and that's why he has to unwoke it.
So what can you do about it?
Yeah, what can you do about Woklahoma? But I like that, by the by. But yeah, I don't know. I guess like my issue here is specifically is that, the ones who are having like all these like crazy theories about what they're seeing is because they don't know damn shit. Right, because they don't know damn shit about damn shit, right? And I would say that, I mean, like we talked about Greek mythology when I was in school, and I found it quite fascinating. And I even watched a lot of Hercules and Xena growing up. And damn, Kevin, why? Just why? I'm coming back. But regardless of that, I found it just like, sincerely interesting, and I wanted to know more about it. So, so when I saw like some of this particular imagery come out, like I didn't freak out, but then again, I'm not going to. I'm not the type that will.
Big girl knickers on, and you've decided that you're going to be sensible and accepting of other people and understanding that other things exist outside of your own little bubble and echo chamber, and your big girl knickers are nice and clean and they fit comfortably.
That's much too simple. Her knickers are untwistable.
There you go. I have purposely purchased untwistable knickers. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the ones who are having the issues with any of this stuff. The problem is that your knickers are too tight. Can we come up with a campaign to untighten people's knickers? Is this
do the news, for goodness sakes? Just cover the news.
I
come back to this. This is not a news article. Yes,
No,
we're
it's not.
discussing it, and yes, we're being light-hearted about it. But to drill down into this, Sportskeeda have run an article which is basically satire.
Yeah.
It's just satire. It's not news. All the people on social media, right-wing lunatic platform run by the South African apartheid man, they're not actually representative of the news here.
See, this is the problem that I actually disagree, because the Vatican made a statement. That's news. What is news?
News is whatever we make it. News is what we talk
Just
about.
here,
now talking about
Here's the thing, though. If we covered everything that the Vatican said and complained about, there's not enough ink or paper in existence to cover it all. It's like North Korea complaining about what South Korea and America are doing. It's just ridiculous. Every time a country opens its mouth does not warrant the whole world falling all over itself.
Well, I will say this about the Vatican. A lot of our Western government systems exists because of the Vatican, and even how we even do ceremony, especially when it comes to Christianity, is because of Catholicism. So in that particular sense, because they are such an old institution and they basically shaped the Western world in some shape, way or form, insert doctrine of discovery here, there is going to be people that's going to pay attention or like listen to, oh, the Vatican said something about a thing. Now we can wait 1 second, wait 1 second, Phoebe. Now I do agree, like, do we have to make it news? No, we don't. However, just the historical implication of the Vatican being the Vatican is going to automatically give it credence for news. So I hear what you're saying, Rob. But I guess like my whole thought is like, what is the line where those who happen to actually have knickers that fit comfortably are going to say to all the ones who have tight, twisted knickers to chill out?
So my question is, to what degree does one's knicker must be twisted such that it is sufficiently newsworthy?
Say this to the rest of the panel. My knickers fit very well, thanks, and they're untwisted.
You know what? And for the last the word, Phil, please answer the question. How are your knickers feeling right now?
My knickers are feeling quite fine. I don't have them in a twist, so of course, I'm very comfortable. Very good. Very comfortable.
Very good. Well, I would tell everybody who's viewing this right now, if you don't learn anything from this segment, learn to properly shop for untwistable, comfortable fitting knickers.
Untwistable undergarments are what you should be undertaking. With your...
at every given moment, because if you get your knickers in a bunch, you're going to start talking like this. But if you like the way that we talk and want more, click here.